We've been able to put it together from start to finish, and we'll try to identify where your horses departed. They got away to a first start, which is often not the case. A few horses out the back in the early stages, but Fiddler on the Roof was one of the ones that was towards the fore. And as they head towards the first fence, we lose a couple. We lose Enjoy Delaine and also Mount Ida, and there is Noble Yeats being identified for you. Sam saying that he wasn't really going early, wasn't able to go the early pace.
I think the pace was strong, wasn't it?
Oh, it's a big bad stumble on landing, Enjoy Delaine, wasn't it? And shot the jockey in the air.
And see to capsize as well from Mount Ida at the very first fence, so that Dennis O'Regan went there. They were all over the second, and Cocoa Beach was already towards the fore. Also 2 for Gold up there. There's Annabelle Fly and Eclair Surf. That's where we lose them. Ooh. Oh. They both sort of capsized into each other, but seemed to fall independently.
They did, didn't they?
They all get over the fourth.
I mean, for a lot of the race, it was Cocoa Beach and 2 for Gold, wasn't it?
With Longhouse Poet towards the inside and the red cap
very
as well.
Right down the in up the whole way.
The horses right up there haven't ended up lasting out, have
no.
they? Longhouse Poet went really well and took to it really well for a long way. I think we'll see him back for more another year, I would imagine.
They're all over the fifth.
No, that was his chance,
now we're heading towards Beechers. On the inside, I think you'll see towards the rear Black Lion making a mistake here. There he is in the black colours on the inside. Keep an eye on him.
Oh, golly.
Yeah. And really good sit there on Black Lion.
Second one today from
Harry Skelton,
yes.
Absolutely.
Sam Whaley-Cohen's this is the point here where I think he's moving him inside a little bit, isn't he, Noble Yeats? You can pick him up at the back alongside the Gigginstown horse with a blue cap there. He's moved him inside a little bit, hasn't he, and started to get him amongst horses.
And I think that was Disa Alba pulling up after the 7th. This is the canal turn.
Death Duty. Oh.
Run Wild Fred we lost there, along with Darasha Counter and Death Duty.
That's right.
Last year's winner goes there, Minella Times.
Oof. Looks like one of the horses sort of clambered over him as well after that. So all the jockeys are okay, I should tell you, as well as the racecourse. The horses being back in the racecourse stable. There is where the mare Augusta Gold goes.
Schoolboy Hours who was badly impeded, and that's why he pulled up shortly after.
See, this is the point Delta work. If you pick him up in the first Gigginstown silks towards the back in the star cap, that's where he's just lost his position a little bit and makes a mistake there as well. Having jumped off sort of mid-division, he's lost quite a lot of ground at that point.
There's a mistake coming up here, I think, from T for 2, who's just pressing the leader, Cocoa Bay there. Just didn't get that quite right. Cocoa Beach, rather. You can see Snow Leopardess at the back. She is struggling from an early stage, and she will eventually be pulled out before going out for the second circuit. I think Discorama is pulled up shortly after this. If you can see him in towards the rear with the spotted cap, he is taken out of the race. But up front, Cocoa Beach quite happily there, along with 2 for Gold.
2 for Gold ran really well for a long way as well. I think just didn't end up seeing things out. Got very tired.
Cloth Cap is up there, as he was last season as well. Lost in Translation is prominent. This is where, at the back there, you can see Discorama being pulled up. As they head towards the 14th. Mighty Thunder out the back, but in the blue colours, makes one of many mistakes here. Oh, I thought he did. Maybe it's the next one.
Noble Yeats has now found his way right to the inside running rail.
Yeah.
So he started off on the outside, gradually got his way between horses, and then worked his right up the inside as they head out onto the last circuit.
Okay. So Cocoa Beach still in front. As you say, Noble Yeats has moved his way into a prominent position. I'm looking for any second now. He's at the back of the main ruck as they come towards the chair. Well, we lose 3. Domaine de Lille is 1, Burris Saint another, and Kildesart out the back.
Right out the back at the time, wasn't he?
Any second now had a perfect trip round, really, I think, most of the way this year. He was always in a similar position before he made up his ground.
Ted Walsh said afterwards that he wasn't travelling as well, Mark Walsh reported, as last year, but he would jump really well and was able to get himself into the race. Now heading out to the final circuit, and you'll see that Snow Leopardess, Aidan Coleman, elects to pull her up quite wisely. She's not going in the way that she did with the verve that she did in the Beecher Chase. So they're heading out for the second circuit. And the field has thinned out quite a bit, probably a little bit more perhaps than recent nationals.
Yes. Yeah, I think we've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 13 or 14 up to this stage. Quite often these days you get a good 30 going out.
There's Noble Yeats being identified for you towards the winner as they all stream over this.
He's got the perfect position now, hasn't he? From where he set off, that is, you know, and that's down to what the jockey's chosen to do on him, to get him towards that inside.
Free Willing Dillon, who's not the most fluent, has also worked his way the yellow and red colours into a more prominent position. They're waved around the 19th fence with either horse or jockey, we're not sure, being attended to at the time. Just to repeat, all the jockeys are okay, all the horses are back in the racecourse stable. So we head towards the 20th, and I'm fairly sure that Mighty Thunder does make a mistake in this. The horse in blue out the back.
Cloth Cap as well, he's started to lose touch now, hasn't he? Lost his position, made a mistake, and I think his race is over soon after.
Iscaria 10 is still in touch at this stage.
Yes, it is. In the McNeil colours, Longhouse Poet right round the inside, Santini creeping into it up the inside, just behind the winner.
Iscaria 10 at this point, I thought he has taken to it, he's dealing with the race and the scenario.
That's Cloth Cap.
Cloth Cap. Yeah, Cloth Cap's pulled up,
Yeah. Sorry, Iscaria 10,
I just thought at this point everything had gone easy for him, and you know, he'd taken to it, which was a concern for me before.
Funnily enough,
so I thought he had a good chance at this point.
I thought Longhouse Poet was going to win here, and then he's made a mistake at the Foynaven there.
Yes.
Which
I was quite happy with where he was. The thing was not going home, going home for home too soon. So we're in the Canal Turn for the second time. Dingo Dollar and seats here, and we also lose Mighty Thunder, I think, at the back.
Yep.
There he is. On to the 25th.
They went quite wide, Cocoa Beach and 2 for Gold, and they let Longhouse Poet and Freewheeling Dillon up the inside.
Romantis Sanam in the red colours is still in it here.
Yes.
Just behind the leaders, so that was a surprise to me. Santini on the inside. You mentioned from an early stage, Martin, that he'd been travelling nicely.
He did. He went along in that position, in touch with the leaders from quite a long way from home.
Fortescue unseats Hugh Nugent. Is that
Good Blue Bobby pulling up at the back?
Fiddler on the Hoof in about 7.
It is. There is any second now, and Noble Yeats highlighted for you. Fiddler on the Roof in the blue colours with the yellow braces.
Yeah.
Who comes through and eventually finishes 5th.
Delta Works just tagging on to the leading group now, isn't he? It's taken him a little bit of a cajoling to actually get him in touch with that leading pack. You can see that Jack Kennedy's always working on him, even now, just to get him to pick up the bridle and pick up the leaders. Jumping the last, he had every chance, didn't he? And given how he'd responded,
he did.
Thought he might go on and.
But I mean, for about half a mile, you know, from the end of the far side up to the home stretch, Samuel Coates is tracking those 3, isn't he? Just biding his time. He's in a great position.
The final circuit was the perfect position for Noble Yeats, right the way around, wasn't it? Sneaking up the inside, but always holding on to him.
Longhouse Poet upside Noble Yeats there. Noble Yeats still going nicely. And Samuel Licone is just waiting. He's just biding his time heading towards this final fence with any second now. Produced on his outside. Leads narrowly there. Delta Worker scrambled over it slightly in 3rd. Santini will start to stay on for 4th. Longhouse Poet with the red cap on the inside. He's up running on fumes now, and he will weaken quite markedly and forfeit not only 4th but also 5th to Fiddler on the Roof, who rallies and stays on. Further back, Freewheeling Dillon, who was prominent early, is faded. Cocoa Beach is plugging on. And these are the closing stages that we've seen many times, and I will want to see many times again, because this is a fantastic effort from Sam Whaley-Cohen. Beautifully produced the horse, beating any second now and a long way back.